So today we're going to take a look at Mech versus Navi on Icebox because one of the best players in the world, Chronicle, decided to pick Brim on Icebox, which is a pick I don't think I've ever seen before, and I'm not sure anyone else has really either. Very, very odd choice indeed to pick the Brim here on Icebox. But after watching this game, I think I figured out why they did it, and it has a lot to do with what Navi were doing, because Navi were playing the G2 comp, which is the triple Sentinel Viper Sova, basically the most defensive comp that you can ever dream up. And I think it had a lot to do with that. So let's take a look at how they managed to use this Brim on Icebox, this very weird choice, and how it worked very well against Navi in particular. And Mech here on the defensive side, Navi are attacking. And Navi on this first pistol round here are going to attack towards B. Or at least they're going to start there, right? They've got the drone here. We've got 3 players here as well. And so, you know, they try and push in B. We've got Nats with his Viper setup. Very common thing to have that little one-way orb. But as you can see, the chamber here, SSK, actually gets past it. But then we get our first Brim smoke of the game. And it's this one here, which is quite interesting. And I think the reason that they want to do this is generally when you're playing against the G2 comp, the team is going to walk up as a team, right? They're playing super defensively. So when you, in particular, watch G2 play it, they literally go as a 5-stack a lot of the time. Like almost always, they're just in a big group of 5. So I think that Mech were probably expecting that the same would be happening here with Navi. And so by putting this smoke up, right, this comp has 0 flashes or anything. So there's no way that they can flash through this and punish you. And also this one way, you know, it's trying to cover 2 lanes. Like, you know, this, either side you could go of this one way. So I think the idea here is that, you know, there's no way, if there was a 5-stack, you know, you could maybe catch one of them, but then they could trade you potentially from the other lane, and this is just stopping that, right? It's just saying no, you're not doing that, and it really does shut down Navi from progressing onto this B site. The chamber's actually going to TP away, and they're going to go back towards the A site instead. So there goes the chamber. He sees one person, he gets out, because they kind of realize, well, we don't really want to push that smoke, so they decide to come away instead. So here's our man Chronicle in mid, but what's actually going to happen is Navi are just going to go A. They're going to have SSK lurk up mid here. He's going to find one but get traded. But the rest of the team are just going to walk up A. And you can see here that Mech, you know, they leaned pretty heavy B. They're going to play retake A here. They have the chamber trap. They have the Viper retake wall. And we're going to see how that works for them. But yeah, here goes SSK in mid. We're about to see him start walking up as you see Navi start to come in onto this A site. Here goes SSK. He's going to start walking down mid, and he will find the first kill of this round. And crucially, it's against Nats as they plant the spike in the higher location with the Sage Wall here. Nice shock dot comes out. But we're going to get SSK. He kills Nats. Okay, and that's pretty big because that gets rid of this Viper retake wall, right? But then Defo is going to trade out SSK just there. So we end up in a 4v4 retake. But now we're going to see the beauty of this Brim, and it's going to work pretty well because generally, in particular where Navi planted on this high A site, right? Normally high, what you want to do is you want to come back particularly to Nest because it's a very good spot to, you know, just spam the spike and go from there. But this is the thing, Mech know that, right? And generally with this comp, once the spike down, you just want to play very passively, let your utility do the work. But here's where the Brim comes in, because Chronicle is going to put down 2 smokes just here, and they're going to be touching, and they're going to just block off this line of sight pretty heavily from you being able to see the spike here. And that causes a big problem because it basically sections Navi into a 2 and 2. 2 that can, like, you know, are close enough to maybe get towards the spike, and 2 that cannot. And Mech are just going to clean up from here. You know, they're just going to come round, they get the first kill, it gets traded, they get another one, and now you see that the turret can't see anything, right, because of these smokes. And now these 2 play, look, what's Cloud going to do here and try and get, you know, try and see the spike? Dinks can just about see it from one tiny little angle, but he can't see Redguard because he's behind this little bit of the wall, so Redguard just sticks the defuse, and Mech win the round, and Dinks just had no idea really what was going on. You know, he didn't know if someone was on the spike or not. Those smokes just caused absolute chaos, and they punished Navi because they knew that they were going to play super passive, so those smokes just create a massive problem for them. And now let's come to the very next round, where obviously Mech now have the guns, and Navi have just got a couple of sheriffs and whatnot, so it's not going to be the most interesting round here, but I think it just, again, is a good example of what they were trying to do with this Brim, and what they kind of realized and how this might work against Navi, because again, Navi don't have really much initiation tools, right? They have basically the Sova with the drone and the dart, and that's really all they're going to have. And so what's going to happen here is Chronicle's going to put down this one-way smoke here. And what we're going to see is that Navi go, okay, we can wait that out. But Chronicle's just going to do it twice more, right? You have this angle here. He knows the exact angle where he can't be seen from Nest here. Look, just sitting in this perfect angle. He knows it very well that he can't be seen if Cloud does walk out there. And now watch. You know, he sees the time is about to elapse on his smoke. He just puts down another one. That's going to happen again. And look at Navi. They don't want to push this smoke. You know, they really don't want to. And they don't really have many tools to get past that smoke either. And I think, again, this is part of why they wanted to pick the Brim against this comp, is because, look, here it goes again. There's the third smoke, and it's just like, look at the time that has been delayed. Like, more than half the round is now gone. And Navi eventually just get impatient, and they just go, well, we're sick of just sitting here. So they eventually decide to come in on it. But that means that they have to just run through this one-way somewhat, and it becomes, you know, a disadvantaged fight where now, you know, Chronicle can find this first kill, but then he can easily, you know, find cover again from this second one. This smoke is still in the way. In fact, if this Viper Wall doesn't come up, he probably kills Cloud there as well from the one way. So, you know, but now you have the Viper Wall as well. It's like a second layer, right? So Navi had to deal with the first layer, that Brim smokes, that took them forever. But now they have to get past this Viper Wall as well, because Nats has been saving up the fuel. He hasn't had a need to use the fuel at all. You know, he hasn't been pressured at all either. And so it works really, really well. And they're just going to mop up as Navi try and come past this Viper Wall here. They're just going to mop them up and find these last couple of kills and win the round. So really nice from Mech. And I think you start to initially see those ideas on why this Brim pick works in particularly pretty well against the G2 comp. And now let's come to round 7, which is a round where we're just going to see the talent of Mech really come out and shine here, because it starts off really bad for them. They end up in a 5v3 here. They'd lost Defo on this B site. They've lost Nats in mid. It's not looking great. And Navi obviously are just going to go B, considering they've killed 2 people on this side of the map. They're just going to go B, plant the spike. Feel pretty good about it. And so we start off, but Mech, no, again, with this G2 comp, just don't, or try to fight the spike plant as much as you can. Right, like if you see a Sage Wall, you destroy that Sage Wall as quickly as you can. You can see straight away Shados destroys one side of it. Redgar actually starts spamming from back towards Snowman and actually hits Dunno. I don't know if he was just in a weird spot, but you see he went down to 50 HP there. But then they kill Shados as well. So now it's a 5v2. Should be pretty unlosable. But Redgar, again, just spamming through that wall, not letting the spike go down, gets a free kill there, basically, on Dunno. And now Zeddy's going to try and trade this out, but Redgar just, you know, finds that headshot as well. And all of a sudden, we're in a 3v2, and, you know, it's kind of maybe a bit of a 50-50 round. Again, Redgar tries to stop the spike plant with this Sovereign, but actually Cloud manages to maneuver himself over here and get the spike down here instead. But now Chronicle enters the scene as well, and he's going to find this first kill here. Obviously, this side of the map is just like chaos. This really was who sees who first. But now Chronicle, I like what he does here, in that he resets. You know, he finds himself back into a safe position, and he's actually going to go and smoke off either side of yellow box there as well to cut off that Killjoy. Then I have no idea how he knows SSK is here, but he swings this and just instantly knows and finds that kill as well. And now this Killjoy, you know, is in a lot of trouble. They wait for each other, basically the 2 mech players. You know, they clear these angles slowly together, and eventually the Killjoy here is going to feel the pressure of these Brim smokes that, you know, they could be right on top of him at this point. So he tries to peek out of it. But Redgar is ready for that. And again, we saw some use of the Brim there, but just the talent on Mech really shining through. And now let's come to round 10, which is a bit of a wild round and shows kind of some of the tactical things that were going on in this game. But we see Navi here. We're going to start with SSK in mid. He's just going to spam Chronicle a bit there, but actually if we come to the map, you'll see that again, playing retake on A, you know, no one's on A, they're all in mid or towards B, and SSK is going to find himself in this position where he's going to get tagged by this drone, and then actually Chronicle's going to go and ult him on the Brim. And that forces out one of the craziest kills you'll ever see, because SSK just Rambo modes Nats here, jumps down, finds that kill, but then he's actually going to die to Defo from B site there with the op. But whilst that's gone on, Navi have gone A, and they've managed to get onto this A site where Mech were playing retake, but we're going to see something that's quite interesting here from Navi, and a bit of a change from what had been happening in this game beforehand. And we saw it on that pistol round, right, where these 2 Brim smokes were coming in, and everyone back here was just like completely shut out from the site and couldn't see anything or do anything. And so what Navi decided to do instead, you can kind of see, is they're deciding to fight up on the site instead. Right, they want to go together as a team and just say, okay, that wasn't working, so we have to fight on the site instead. But the thing is, this G2 comp isn't really made for that. You know, normally in this comp, because you have like the Viper Mollies, the Silver Shock Darts, the Killjoy Nanoswarms, all of that, you'd rather just let your utility just stall it out for you on its own. But they've been punished so hard for that because of these Brim smokes. They couldn't see, you know, they couldn't find their lineups or whatever because they're throwing it into a smoke. Like, it just cost them a lot, and they just kept losing anytime they did it. So they decide to fight this time instead. They get the Sova Dart here a bit early perhaps, but in come Mech, right? And they are going to do these same smokes, and we're going to see a Sova Dart as well that we need to take a look at because that's also going to win them the round. So they start destroying the Sage Wall to start off with. Look, here, we got Viper Mollies towards screens, right? Because they want to fight instead because nothing else would work for them. We're going to get one flash. We're going to get a second flash coming in as well. Those smokes come in. Just here, obviously, we see that it's not actually doing anything this time, but it doesn't matter. Because the thing is, in this comp, no one is used to this, right? No one is used to actually fighting up here. So the Sova Dart comes in and it scans all three, right? All three of these players get scanned by that Sova Dart, and that is a massive problem. They've already found the Sage down here as well, and now they're just sitting ducks, right? Chronicle finds one there. Okay, Dinks does get one, but then they get the next one as well. And the Sova now has to retreat because he does have the ult, and so they decide that that's probably their best chance, but it's not going to be enough time, right? They find one, but Redguard gets it to half, and then Defo just chases down Cloud and gets that final kill. Really, really nice from Mech, and we saw kind of the tactical side of that, and again, the Brim kind of forced them to do that. And it really did cost Navi because that is not how they want to play in these post-plant scenarios. Then let's watch a little clip from the next round, and that is just the speed of these Brim smokes. Again, this is just like another advantage of this Brim is just watch this, right? Because watch this kill that Chronicle's about to get, right? This smoke comes in, the one-way lands straight away, and guess what? Chronicle swings out and he finds 2 kills with it. Again, the Brim, like, because, again, Navi just kind of have to walk up as a team. 2 die there because that one way just comes out straight away and Chronicle's just able to get 2 easy kills. It really did work for them. Now let's come to round 13, a really cool pistol round attacking side from Mech here, where they use the Brim, and it's really quite interesting what they do. So they start off with these 2 mid smokes from Brim, okay, just, you know, to secure mid, and what we're going to see here is a B split. You know, they're going to come up the tube there, they're going to get the Sova droning down here, they're going to try and get the spike on B and just create a whole load of chaos. And it really is quite fun to watch this, because they send in this knife here, as you can see as well, to just clear it out. They send in a dart towards mid as well that pings this Viper here, and now we're going to get this 3rd smoke towards the back of kitchen as well. And we'll see how that goes for me. You see the Killjoy is just trapped in here, but this turret, the Killjoy does really well because Chronicle starts shooting the turret that's just poking out of it, and they find the first kill. But whilst that's going on and everyone's focusing on what's going on here, Nats is just going to look underneath the tube and find this Viper here. So they do get the next kill back, and Shados does really well here to recognize he's just in a lot of trouble and decides to live. And then Nats and Shados do something that really not a lot of people do, and that is walk the other side of mid whilst the spike is going down on B. But SSK, I have no idea why he does this, if they knew they were there or whatnot, but he's actually going to jump peek this. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this before and have that awareness that someone could be there. But really well played by him, but it doesn't matter because Shados is going to kill him, Nats is going to get the next one, and now the problem becomes this. This Sova here, you can just see that this arrow is looking this way, and Defo's just going to swing and find the freest kill on his life of this Sova, and so the Sova dies, and then Defo's also able to get Dinks as well. So really nice round from Mech overall there. We saw the Brim smokes to get that early mid control. Really quite fun, really quite a different round, full of chaos. I loved it, and a really nice round from Mech on the whole. And then finally, let's come to round 16, the round that ended it all, and what we've got here is with 46 seconds left, Mech are just going to decide to go to A, but they don't know that this Sage Wall is up, and that's going to be a bit of a problem for them, as you will see, because the time is going to run pretty tight here for Mech, as they send in the drone as well. They see the Sage Walls there, so they're like, oh god, got to destroy that, and as I said, the time is ticking down, and they're running in to this Sage, so let's see how they do. They do still have a bit of a gun advantage here, and that is going to come into play. We see a Sova Dart that pushes them back a bit as well. But Nats is able to find Cloud there, and now we're also going to get the Killjoy lockdown, and that's going to become pretty important. But they start finding these kills, okay? We actually end up in a 5v2, but it's going to be pretty wild from here, because Chronicle is going to plant the spike, and you can see he's one off his ult. Okay, so he's going to go plant the spike, as Nats tries to run into destroy the Killjoy lockdown, but can't quite do it. We do get this Brim ult coming in, but now the thing is, I just want you to watch this, right? Because they get the next kill as well, and it says 2 players detained, then it says lockdown destroyed, and then it says 2 players detained again. And I don't think I've ever seen that, because the Killjoy lockdown goes off, but its head got destroyed by the Brimmel, which is just absolutely insane. I don't think I've ever seen that. But then this becomes even more insane, because Redguard just hides behind this box, and they don't see he's there. And then he just waits for them. And then this Viper Spit goes down. Chronicle, of course, just finds the next kill as well. And then Redguard's just going to find the freeze kill of his life, hiding behind that box there. Really crazy last round in what was a bit of a wacky game. But yeah, the Brim, I think, came in big, and I think the reason that it worked is because they were playing against this exact comp, and they knew that there would be some things that they could do with the Brim, you know, smoking off extra things, maybe smoking off Killjoy turrets and whatnot as well, would be easier for them with the Brim. You know, all of those things I think just became a bit easier for Mech, and I think that they kind of realized that this Brim pick can be a bit of a counter to a lot of what the G2 comp is really trying to do.